but you're definitely right. So I want to go back a little bit to Jeremiah Plunkett. Shout
Mhm.
out to him, by the way. He did follow, he's subscribed to us on YouTube, so shout out to him for that. I appreciate it.
Thanks.
But what were your first impressions of him? What was it like training with him, and how's your relationship with him today?
My first impressions of him were actually pretty good after seeing his first couple of matches. He was on the very first show for Tried and True Pro back in 2015. I think he had a match. It was him and Tracy Smothers tagging against another team. And I got to see their work in there. And, I got to get a little bit of a good feel for him. But over that time, before he ever became my trainer, I got to see a lot of his matches with Tried and True Pro.
Mhm.
Him and Crimson being very close friends for a very long time, he got to be a regular fixture there. And I really appreciate that because it was great to be actually trained by Jeremiah after being able to witness a lot of his matches live and becoming a big fan of his. I think still to this day, and I've told both of these guys who have trained me this, that one of my favorite matches, actually my absolute favorite match when it came to Tried and True Pro, was a match that he had with the next trainer that I would have, Crazy Steve. So him and Crazy Steve had a casket match. I think you might be able to find it somewhere on YouTube or at least on a DVD for Tried and True Pro. I think they still sell those DVDs on highspots.com. It's definitely worth looking for. If you can find it on YouTube or you can find it on highspots.com, wherever they sell the Tried and True Pro DVDs, I definitely recommend finding the casket match between Jeremiah Plunkett and Crazy Steve. And so after seeing that match and being so hyped up for it, it was already naturally going to be cathartic for me to find out that Jeremiah Plunkett was going to be my main trainer. And with Jeremiah, he's such a good teacher and he was placed in such a great position to kind of teach us because he's so warm and inviting. Despite how mean and dirty his character looks in a lot of different places, especially before the NWA, uh, you know, it's kind of weird to see how much of a teddy bear, how much of a nice guy he is, and how he's the best. I can't shower enough praise on Jeremiah Plunkett. Would be here for weeks if I was doing that. Um, but my first impression of him as a trainer, like I didn't feel intimidated,
Mhm.
which was great, especially coming into just learning something completely new. I feel like in every aspect when it came to anything that I did with Jeremiah Plunkett, whether I'd have a match with him now, tomorrow, next week, anything like that, I always feel like I'm in good hands. It's somebody who I feel like actually cares, empathizes with how I feel about professional wrestling, and only wants me to be the best. And I love that about Jeremiah. It's something that makes him feel very genuine as a person, and it's something I can always believe that he has the best interest for me, for himself, and for anybody else involved in professional wrestling. He's kind of just like one of those warm wrestling dads. That's what I like to call.
He
He's a
strikes
wrestling
me
dad.
he strikes me as the kind of guy that wrestlers like to have matches with
Mhm.
because, he seems to have great timing and he'll always make his opponent look great. He seems to have a great mind for it, but he's the kind of person who, even if fans don't necessarily appreciate it as much, especially because he's usually a heel, how good
Mhm.
he is, wrestlers would probably definitely appreciate his work. That's how he comes across to me.
Oh yeah, he's definitely one of those people that I think, kind of the term I used before, a pro wrestler's favorite wrestler. So your favorite
Yeah.
wrestler's favorite wrestler, and I think that's probably one of the great things about the current wrestling landscape. A lot more people are getting deeper into wrestling and they're getting to watch and appreciate a lot of your favorite wrestlers. So some people who may have not got as much appreciation or got to smell their flowers or got to get their flowers as much as they did during the height of their career, or even now that they're wrestling, you get to see some of your favorite wrestlers, and they get a lot more appreciation than they would have, let's say, 10, 20, 30 years ago. So I like that with Jeremiah Plunkett, there's a lot of people out here that get to speak their mind and say how much they appreciate Jeremiah because he may have been one of those people beforehand that probably didn't get all their respect that they were due,
Mhm.
you know. Because it was again, it's just a conversation between wrestlers. You can go to almost any locker room if they know about Jeremiah Plunkett, they're going to be jumping up on their hands and feet or whatnot, saying how great this guy is, you know. But now the fans get to see it too, and that's something that I really like. They get to
Yeah.
appreciate his work too.
And his platforms, like this to a smaller degree, and obviously to a
Mhm.
much bigger degree, NWA and other stuff, where you can kind of help share not only your own legacy but other people's legacies. And I think that's another cool thing about the social media age and everything like that.
Oh yeah, that's one of the best parts about it.